In the 1990s, if you wanted to play the newest, most beautiful computer games, you needed a special chip, and one company became the king of making them. For almost 30 years, that was the whole story. Nvidia made graphics cards for gamers. Then, almost overnight, it became one of the most valuable companies in the history of the world. This is the story of how that happened, and why almost nobody saw it coming. By 2024, Nvidia was worth more than $3 trillion. To put that in perspective, that is larger than the entire yearly output of most countries on the planet. For a brief moment, it was the single most valuable company in the world. So how does a company that made toys for gamers end up here? The answer is a bet that made no sense at the time. Nvidia was founded in 1993 with a narrow mission: build the best graphics processing unit, the GPU, for rendering video games. Now here is the key idea. A normal computer processor is like a brilliant professor. It solves one hard problem at a time very fast. A GPU is the opposite. It is like an army of thousands of students, each doing simple arithmetic all at the same time. That is exactly what you need to draw millions of pixels on a screen, 60 times every second. For years, that was all it was good for: games. The early years followed a straight line. Founded in '93. In 1999, Nvidia coined the very term GPU with a chip called the GeForce 256. By the early 2000s, it was the dominant name in gaming graphics. It could have simply kept making faster chips for gamers forever. But in 2006, the company made a strange, expensive decision that most of Wall Street did not understand, and many thought was a mistake. That decision was called CUDA. In plain terms, Nvidia rebuilt its chips and its software so that programmers could use the GPU for anything, not just drawing games. Suddenly, that army of thousands of simple calculators could be pointed at any problem. Scientific research, weather models, financial simulations, any task built from mountains of simple math done in parallel. The catch: almost no one needed that yet. Nvidia poured billions of dollars into CUDA for years, building a solution to a problem the world did not know it had. Investors grumbled. The payoff was invisible. Nvidia's founder, Jensen Huang, would later describe the bet like this: they did not know that artificial intelligence would be the thing that made it matter. They only believed that this new kind of computing was coming, and that when it arrived, the world would need exactly what they were building. They were preparing for a wave they could not yet see. Then, in 2012, the wave arrived from an unexpected direction. A team of researchers entered a famous competition to build software that could recognize images. Their system, later known as AlexNet, did not just win. It humiliated everything that came before it, and the secret behind it was almost an afterthought. They had trained their artificial intelligence on a pair of Nvidia gaming graphics cards. It turned out that the math behind modern AI, training a neural network, was the exact same kind of massive, parallel arithmetic that GPUs had been perfecting for gaming all along. Nvidia had spent 6 years building the perfect engine for a revolution that had not started yet. Now it had. For years, gaming had been Nvidia's main business, but quietly a new customer was taking over: data centers, the giant warehouses of computers that companies use to train artificial intelligence. Look at how fast that business grew: under $1 billion in 2016, then 3, then 7, then 15. And then, as the AI boom exploded, it rocketed past $40 billion a year. The gamers had not gone anywhere. It is just that the world had found a far bigger use for their chips. From there, the timeline accelerates. 2012 proves GPUs are the engine of AI. In 2016, Jensen Huang personally hand-delivers Nvidia's first AI supercomputer to a little-known startup called OpenAI. Then in late 2022, OpenAI releases ChatGPT, and the entire technology industry panics. Every company on Earth suddenly needs to build artificial intelligence, and there is really only one place to buy the engines to do it. In 2023, Nvidia crossed a $1 trillion valuation, and it was just getting started. Now you might ask, why did competitors not simply build a rival chip and take the profits? Some tried. But Nvidia's real fortress was not the hardware. It was CUDA, that software platform it had been building since 2006. By the time AI exploded, an entire generation of researchers and companies had built their tools, their models, and their careers on top of CUDA. To switch to a competitor, you would have to rewrite almost everything from the ground up. That 17-year head start, the bet that looked like a waste, had quietly become one of the deepest competitive moats in business. The market's reaction was almost hard to believe. It took Nvidia 30 years to become worth $1 trillion, a milestone it hit in 2023. It then added the second trillion in about 9 months, and the third trillion in barely 3 more. In the middle of 2024, this former gaming company briefly became the single most valuable business on the planet, worth more than Apple, more than Microsoft. What is the real lesson here? Nvidia did not predict the artificial intelligence boom. What it did was build a powerful general capability and then position itself so that when a wave finally came, it was the only one holding a surfboard. The biggest winners of a revolution are often the ones who were quietly ready before the revolution even began. The open question now is whether this is a permanent throne or simply the peak of a cycle. Chip booms have busts. Competitors and customers are racing to build their own alternatives. But however this next chapter unfolds, the story so far is one of the great second-order surprises in business history. A chip built to draw imaginary worlds ended up powering the real one. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the hidden mechanics behind the headlines, subscribe. There is a new story every week on how technology, business, and money actually work.